to be square. It's hip to be square. It's hip to be square. So hip to be square.
Hey, this is Chris for JamPlay, here with a Huey Lewis and the News song, Hip to Be Square. This is an awesome rhythm song, it's got a great riff, and it's got some horn parts and sax parts that we're actually going to be learning on guitar. One of the best things you can do as a guitar player to work on your phrasing and your lick ideas is to learn lines from other instruments, and horns are some of the best to do this with. So we've created a guitar solo out of the horn and sax lines. So let's just dive right into it. In the next scene, we're going to look at the main rhythm riff. Simple groovy riff, starting here on the 7th fret, A string. Then we go immediately to the open string. I use a downstroke on both notes. Okay? Then we go to the 4th fret, open E. Rock back and forth between the 4th and 5th fret. Okay? The first time the riff turns around, we come up here on the 5th fret, open E, or 5th fret E string, and we do that little riff. 5, 7, 5, 7. Back down. That's really what most of the riff looks like. There's a couple variations at the end of the riff sometimes, depending on what the drum's doing or where we're going in the song. But the intro starts out doing that a couple times. Last time. All right, so that very last time, instead of toggling there, we land on the 5th fret with a staccato kind of muted note there. Okay, and I'm muting with this finger, and I'm muting with the palm of my hand on the strings. That gives me that nice short note. 7th, slight bend, and then we go to the open string. You could also go here, you know, play your 7th fret E if you wanted there. But then the distorted guitar dies down and we get into the clean section. So let me play this riff real slow for you one more time, then I'll play it again with the track. Last time. Okay, then we start the verse. So picking is really mostly downstrokes until I start doing that little toggle there. And then I do some alternate picking when I'm picking back up to that high E. I'm doing a hammer-on right there. I'm not necessarily picking all those, although you could. It doesn't make that much of a difference. The main thing is this riff just needs to groove. You know, it needs to kind of lay back in the beat and make you want to dance or something. So let me play it with the track, and then in the next scene, we're going to learn the verse clean rhythm. So coming out of that main riff, you want to make sure and cut it off quickly. That way you get out of the way for the song to kind of die down, the vocals to start, and that clean guitar to come in. So, clean guitar coming up next. So this is that subtle, clean, kind of palm-muted guitar that whenever you're listening to something like this on a record, you're like, what are they playing? I can barely hear it. It's kind of buried in the mix and it's so subtle. Well, these are sometimes the perfect layering ideas to just drive home a basic rhythm, and that's exactly what we're doing here in this verse of Hip to Be Square. So we start with a clean sound, and on the other tone, on the main riff, I was on my bridge pickup. Now I'm going to go to the neck pickup of my Strat, and I get a little bit more of a little bit hollower sound, typical neck sound, and I'm very clean. All right, no verb, a little bit of compression, and a mid boost on the EQ after the amp, so I don't add a lot of gain. Okay, but we start here on our D and G strings, and we palm mute. You just kind of want to get this going, because that's really going the whole time, and then there's some accents that kind of come in, doing that kind of thing. So if you're not comfortable with that, practice doing something like this, where you're not necessarily doing a ton with the left hand, except you're palm muting with your right, and then every once in a while you're depressing the strings. So that's a good thing to have down before you try to do this little riff here. But here we go. All right, we start here. First finger on the 7th fret, 9, 9. And the rhythm's tricky on this. We're on the upbeats there. Okay. And. We're on the ands. Okay, we come down here, 7th and 6th fret, same strings. Then we repeat this part again. But here, we do a different rhythm. The second time we go down to this section here. Okay, so now we're on the beat. Real straight. We take this same shape and we bring it down 2 frets. Then the whole thing repeats. Now the second time we go down to this section on the second loop through, we play it a little bit more straight. See what I'm doing there? I'm not doing that. Instead, I'm doing this. So there's still, it's accented with that. The upbeats are still being accented, but you're keeping this palm muting thing going, and you're pressing the strings down more, so it's just a little bit more straight. I know that's kind of tough, and you'll just have to watch me play it and listen to it a number of times to really get the essence of this line. Let me play it through with the track once more so you can hear how it lies against the rest of the track. That's probably the biggest help. So here we go. A little bit more straight. Same thing here. One more time. So I let the palm muting go a little bit on that last time. That's important that you don't do that when you're playing it for real, but I was just trying to emphasize the different accents a little bit more. So that, to me, next to the solo, is probably the toughest part of the song, is getting that to lay back a little bit and playing subtly in rhythm. And it's really cool when you listen to it in context. It pulls the track in a really cool way. If that part wasn't there, you'd really be missing something. So in the next scene, we're going to get into the end of the verses or pre-chorus, however you want to look at it. But go back to the distorted tone you had for the intro. Okay, pre-chorus, end of the verse, whatever you want to call it, we get back into these heavy chords. And I should mention before I forget that that last verse riff that we worked on, the clean stuff, happens virtually the same in every verse. So once you get that down, you can go ahead and play that clean part the same way in every verse. There are very, very subtle differences between them, but not enough to really split hairs over. So we go to the pre-chorus here. Starts on an A, regular A, although I'm playing an A5. I'm not playing the third. So I'm just playing the A, the D, and the G string. And then I'm going to this G5, all on the 3rd fret, fingers on the B, E, and low E string. Back to the A, B5, E5. Then we have this little riff here. Classic bluesy kind of turnaround. Open string. Then go to the 3rd fret. We're going to slide directly up to the 4th fret. Don't give it much time. 2nd, hammer on, pick on your D string 2nd fret. The tricky part here is by the time you get up here, you've got to go down to an F sharp note. Now the rest of the time we're playing chords. When we hit this F sharp, it's only the F sharp note. We don't do this or this. It's a real distinct one note. So let's look at that again. And even there, I let some other strings ring through, but that's tough because you're here on the 1st finger, and then you have to reach over, hit that F sharp. Okay? The one exception to this is, after the solo, we go back to the A there. We'll cover that in a little bit. The first 2 pre-choruses are exactly this way. Okay? So we go... Then we do this G sharp over E. Well, E over G sharp, excuse me. It's an E chord with a G sharp in the bass. You don't want to really play the upper strings that much. You really just want to play, if you just got those 2 notes, you'd be in good shape. So we go from here, 1st finger, A, B. When we hit that B, it's a short B, and we slide off the neck. Leave that bass player room to do this doo-doo. Okay? So the whole thing is... Oh, I should mention this too. These chords are anticipated, so they're not landing right on the beat. You'll get a real good feel for that when you play it with the track. The A's on the beat. These are on beat. So it's really just that G that you really have to worry about in terms of being syncopated. All right, let's go ahead and play it with the track again, and you can hear how those chords lie rhythmically.
And had to settle down. Now I'm playing it real straight. And yes, I cut my hair. You might think I'm crazy, but I don't even care. 'Cause I can tell what's going on. It's hip to be square.
Okay, so before I said that the only chord was anticipated. Upon playing it again, there are other anticipated chords there. Some of them are on the beat, some of them are anticipated. Rather than going through and naming which one is on the beat and which ones are not, because I don't really know. I only can feel it when I play it with the track. You should do the same. It's more important to be able to play something with the track and know it kind of in your hands than it is necessarily saying, this one definitely comes in on the end and this one doesn't. Okay? So I'm going to play it with the track one more time though for you, so you can get an idea of which ones are anticipated and which ones aren't. And you can also look on the supplemental content to provide you with the exact details if you really want to.
And had to settle down. Now I'm playing it real straight. And yes, I cut my to be square.
In the next scene, we're going to start the guitar solo.